Is my bond. President Muhammadu Buhari swears to protect the sanctity of the ballot and ensure a credible, free and fair 2019 polls in his Christmas message. And as President said, he will commence 2019 presidential campaign starting from the regions, but will still stay on his 2015 campaign points. Nothing appears to have changed in his strategy. Merry Christmas to you, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos. Check out our countdown clock right here on Channels Television. It is 52 days to the 2019 general elections and the opening of the fourth day of ballot. Tonight, we will be discussing some very critical issues relating to the preparations and the sanctity of the ballot. The president has made a promise, swearing that he will protect and guarantee free and credible election. Well, it's Christmas Day, everyone, and President Muhammadu Buhari received visitors at a villa. At that meeting, he gave out this information about his 2019 campaign. President Muhammadu Buhari says he will soon embark on an aggressive campaign for the 2019 presidential election. He said the party will begin its campaign by visiting each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. The president spoke when he received the Federal Capital Territory community, which paid a Christmas homage on him at the Aso Villa, Abuja. On the thrust of the campaign, he says it will focus on fight against corruption, security, and improving the economy, the areas which his party campaigned on in 2015. The APC and its candidate have not really commenced his presidential campaign except for the vice president, who started a door-to-door campaign compared to other parties who have staged open-air campaigns across the country.
Because we are once more into the bridge, as Shakespeare said, in Henry VI. I said I will contest. The party nominated me, and the election, we are watching INEC very seriously, and we are going out very soon to start going geopolitical zone by geopolitical zone, presentation to the people, and remind them our promises in 2015.
Well, let's get down to our major topic of the day. I know it's Christmas Day, and perhaps you'll be looking forward to some cheery news. This is one of it. Well, as far as it sounds to the ears, and as far as the words are in the statement released by the presidency, it's Christmas Day, and the president, as usual, gives his Christmas message. In that message was talked a very strong promise of President Muhammadu Buhari to ensure that votes of Nigerians count come 2019. In the past weeks, there have been fears about the conduct of the elections, considering that the president did not assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, and the role of security agents have also been scrutinized. The opposition parties have criticized and questioned the fairness of the security agencies. Take a look at what the president says in his Christmas message. I quote him now. It says, I have charged our security and law enforcement agencies to secure the sanctity of the ballot box and ensure that the outcome of the polls reflects the will of the Nigerian people. My avowed commitment to free and fair, credible, and violence-free poll is not a ruse or yet another vain political promise. My word is my bond. It is a sworn declaration on the advancement of Nigeria, the future and safety of our young and unborn generations. End of quote. Let's talk about this, everyone. It concerns you, isn't it? If you know that when you go out there on that day, your vote will not count, why go there anyways? But when the president says it will count. A lot of people have criticized the roles of the security agencies, whether or not they are fair in handling the issues relating to security ahead of the election. tense situation we have on our hands. But let's douse them by analyzing and breaking it down. And let those who are responsible take action and be responsible to some of these issues. Let's go about this, everyone. Do you have your fears about the 2019 elections and the possibility of a credible polls? Let's get my panel talking on the show tonight. I have joining me a former spokesperson to President Muhammadu Buhari when he was the candidate of the CPC, Mr. Yinka Odumakin, joins us here in our Lagos studio. And from our Abuja studio is a lawyer and a political analyst, Mr. Daniel Buala. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Odumakin, let me begin with you. When the president says, my word is my bond, you've worked with him before, and he says that I will protect the sanctity of the ballot. And he did talk about how he will ask the security agencies to do their job. Do you trust those words?
Well, today I was reading one of the papers, and the American ambassador to Nigeria said that Nigerians should not trust the promises of politicians. They should focus on their actions. God bless the soul of late President Yaradua. When he was elected president in 2007, he admitted publicly that the election that brought him to power was flawed and set up the Ways Committee to look at the electoral process, bring some improvement. Unfortunately, he died. So if on the eve of another election, that president has said that, oh, I will deliver free and fair election, you can say, okay, we can trust this man. He has been honest on this process. But I'm sorry for Mr. President. In the last 3.5 years, in fact, interestingly, he contested election 3 times where he alleged it was rigged, went to court, up to Supreme Court. And we have thought that on coming to power, things are going to improve. But in the last 3.5 years, not one thing has been done to improve our electoral process. In fact, things have gotten worse. Things we never knew before.
What do you think he could have done differently?
Of course, he could have set up in motion the process of improving the electoral process by the electoral reforms. Rather than having reforms, we have more deformities to the electoral process. Vote buying has become a cultural reservation. It was not this widespread before.
Was it the fault of the president?
Has you seen anybody being prosecuted? I will give you an example.
In that case, you know, the laws are here, and the law states clearly how that, in fact, INEC will tell you, our hands are tied because the law does not permit them to be able to prosecute.
Because they are not the police, they are not the law enforcement agents. You ask the INEC to go and prosecute electoral offenders, INEC has no power to arrest. The police that will arrest is answerable to the executive. Now, let me give a very poignant instance. You know, in 2014, 15, 14, the day the president was going to buy the APC nomination form, he was accompanied by Mr. Simply Sylvia of Bayelsa State. It happened in 2016 that Mr. Sylvia contested the government election in Bayelsa. He lost that election. See, date, as we are speaking on this program now, the president has not congratulated this thing won that election.
Is he a must?
That tells you there was no spirit of sportsmanship. So when that tells you want free and fair polls, look at what happened in Osun and other elections that we have had in recent times. You see that when you open the polls at morning, from morning till INEC finishes his duty at 12 noon thereabouts, everything is okay. The moment they start counting, after they have counted, start taking results with the police, problem starts. Who are responsible? The police, the security agencies. Nobody has been brought to book. And so, if on the eve of an election now, we are just giving us words that, oh, you can trust me, I think Nigerians should not trust such words. So they should be on their guard.
You're saying Nigerians cannot trust President Muhammadu Buhari
on the question of election.
Even the man that you've worked with him, yes. So is that kind of a man? Is he a man that you can take his word as a bond?
Well, when I worked with him, I was one of those believed in the Mr. President, they call him Gasikia, the man of the truth. But actions, like I said, I'm said that actions now more than words. We have seen last 3.5 years.
So it's not the same Buhari you work with?
No.
Is he a different Buhari?
If you want free and fair elections, there's no reason why you should not have signed the Electoral Act.
Well, he gave reasons why he wouldn't have signed.
What are the reasons?
Oh, let's talk to Mr. Buala. He's a lawyer who is joining us from Abuja. So, Mr. Buala, it does look like there are a lot of people who are having this distrust in the president delivering a credible election. Do you have your fears that, well, he says, my word is my bond. Mr. Odumaki here appears that he may not be able to believe the president on that. Do you have your fears also?
Well, Merry Christmas to Nigerians. And in sharp disagreement with Mr. Odumaki, I think that on the contrast, or on the contrary, President Buhari has shown to Nigerians that he is more a Democrat than all these other politicians put together. And I can tell you that in a minute or two. Number one, President Buhari is one that has shown, even in his political party, his capacity to allow due process of law and political process and refuse to interfere at any material time despite pressure. President Buhari has also shown by several journeys he traveled abroad, by relinquishing power to the vice president, full power to the vice president while away, and on many occasions has turned down individuals who have taken information to him and asked them to go back to the president on ground. President Buhari has even demonstrated in plenty places where there have been elections in the past that he believes in the due process of law, he believes in the political process. He's not God, he's not perfect. There may be one mistake or the other, but he's by far better than them. Now, going to 2019, I can tell you that I believe President Buhari's word, and I believe he is determined to do that. But maybe what he needs to do is to stretch that, to go beyond that, and ensure that the red line is drawn to all the security agencies. What is really happening, let me be honest with you and to Nigerians, all of this cry and brouhaha that is being stirred by PDP, it is in the proverbial word in Hausa, meyanka nama, baya so arike uka abayansa. That is what is happening because they have a checkered history of manipulating electoral process.
What does that mean?
They have a checkered history of using the machinery of the state.
Interpret what you said in Hausa to Nigerians, so that they can understand.
Well, the interpretation of what I have just said is that the man who is used to cutting meat will naturally be very, very nervous when he sees anybody holding knife behind his back. And in interpreting it with what bringing it to what I'm saying, to the context of what I'm saying, because PDP have been the president and founders of manipulation, of intimidation, of the use of machinery of the state, of political rigging, of vote buying and imposition. Therefore, now that they are not in power, they are naturally afraid that the state is likely going to use the same thing that they used in the past. In other words, they are victims of their past.
Okay, Mr. Bola,
but I feel for
just a moment if I may butt in. Apologies if I may quickly butt in. Hear what the president said. He says, I have charged our security and law enforcement agencies to secure the sanctity of the ballot box. Now, consider that, well, if we believe the president, give him a benefit of the doubt that he's a man of his word. He did say that my word is my bond. Yeah, we believe the president. But take an example of what happened in Benue State, where he did say by himself that I ordered the IG to go to Benue State. I don't know how he did not find himself there. So can you believe such a man on the fact that those who work with him can actually obey to the letter what he says when it comes to the election, if that kind of thing has happened in the past?
I believe that the case in Benue is an isolated case. And you recall over time on the national TV, I said I never supported the idea of the president not taking a bold step to either suspend or sack the man who refused to obey him. That is how the chief executive operates, so that there will be fear amongst individuals that he has appointed. But that is the past. Since that incident, you would have noticed that in Benue there has been relative peace. The security agencies up their game. So I believe going forward that the President Buhari is serious about what he said. But let me say this. President Buhari is a person. He cannot be in all the polling booths. It behoves of the security agency, the civil society organization, the international observers to be on the watch out, to report, to capture through electronic evidence. Because you see, if I'm running for an office, going to 2019, I don't have to kill myself. All I will do is all of my agents, I will make sure they have electronic device where they will record anything again, that goes on at the polling unit which is not palatable. Because the Electoral Act is clear.
Again, sorry, for a moment. Sorry, apologies. I'll allow you to conclude our thought, but we need to take this break. Don't forget, it's a very interesting conversation that we are having, which concerns you. If you're going through the election next year, would you not be concerned about the sanctity of the ballot the president has promised? He said, my word is my bond. Can we believe that? That's what we're discussing on the program tonight. Mr. Odumaki and Mr. Buhari are my guests on tonight's show. We take a break now, and when we return, we continue the conversation and we dig deeper into the reasons why the president did not sign the Electoral Act Amendment Bill and tie it to all of this. That's after now. Join us again. Welcome back, everyone. So it's 52 days to the 2019 general elections. Perhaps the hottest story in the land is the preparations for this election. Who will be Nigeria's next president is perhaps one thing that is on the minds of many Nigerians. And the ballot, they say, is very, very critical. This time around, decision of Nigerians is key. Who will you vote for? That's your decision. It's personal, isn't it? Well, when the president says he will protect the sanctity of the ballot, do you believe it? He says that, take my word for it. My word is my bond. And we're discussing those words, his Christmas message to Nigerians today. 200 million of us are expecting that day when we'll be able to vote for the next leaders in the country. My partner tonight, Mr. Yinka Odumaki, he has advised and worked with the president when he was a candidate of the CPC. And also from our Abuja studio is Mr. Daniel Buala, a lawyer and a political analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on the program. The opposition is not very happy with what is happening. I'll allow you to listen to the chairman of the PDP on their fears about this 2019 election. Take a listen to him now.
Society groups and the political parties have to partner in protecting rule of law, freedom, and democracy in this country. Believe me, if we join with this government, we will end up in a dictatorship.
So, Mr. Buhari, I'll allow you to respond to that. That seems is a similar, that's the candidate of the PDP, not the national chairman, I beg your pardon there. So let me allow you to react to that he said, that if you allow this government, we'll return to dictatorship. Do you agree with what he said?
What he said is a blatant lie or untrue in my opinion, because this government has shown that it believes more in democratic process than them. You see, the last 16 years of PDP was they won the elections with the old Electoral Act, not even with the new one that they are saying without it heavens will fall. Secondly, between 1999 and 2007, some of us whose memory has not failed us and is still fresh, we know how the elections were conducted in Nigeria. Somebody can be determined even before the election. And so for them, if it is a different set of people, let's say Kingsley Moghalu or someone else is saying something like that, you say, okay, this is a new person who has not come to the fore. Maybe he has something to say, or maybe he's saying something that is reasonable. But these people who are talking are the mastermind of everything that has translated to the problems we have in Nigeria. And so they know, let me be honest with you, Shehu, and to everyone listening. I know that going to 2019, governorship and National Assembly will be up for grabs across the length and breadth in Nigeria. As far as the presidential election is concerned, it is concluded. Buhari is a clear winner. If you look at this, elections are won by votes, not by notes.
That may be too dangerous to say, considering that you're on a national television and millions of Nigerians are watching you, and that may not be empirical for you to say. And I know Mr. Odumaki would disagree with that. Do you agree with him that the election is settled?
Well, except Mr. Buhari is in the rigging room. Then that's when you can conclude that the election has been determined when we have not even cast the final ballot. When the campaign has not, their APC has not even done one rally. And I said they won elections. And they are, people have been saying this thing, that they are not having a campaign council, they are not campaigning anywhere, shows that perhaps there's a master plan to reach. And this kind of statement confirms such fears. Now to the issue we are discussing. I want to believe, and I'm very serious about this, that at this stage, it has shown that we cannot trust the word of politicians. Nigerians should be on their guard. When you talk about the fact that what has happened at the same time, look at what happened in Osun State. When my brother is talking about, the free and fair elections, look at what happened in Osun State. That was a clear rape of democracy. In the first election, a clear winner emerged. They forced that election to be run. When they had it run, you saw the road security play. That was a sham. The president was the first person to congratulate the winner, the so-called winner. So clearly, I do not know except talking about another country. If you look at what has happened in this recent time, there's no reason for anybody to trust the social government. And I think if they trust such words, it may become APC. That is a promise cancelled.
Let me ask you for your final thoughts, both of you, on the program today. So the president is counting on security agencies to deliver. He's giving them an order. His power. He's the chief security officer of the land. Mr. Odumakin, if the president's word is not to be believed, like you said, he said we should never believe the politicians now, because he's also his name is on the ballot
and he has invested interest.
Now, so what do we do then?
Well, the people have to be ready. Power consists nothing beyond what people ask for. Let the people take it that there is a plan not to give free and fair elections, and they must be on their toes. Put the politicians, the police, everybody, all those who are going to be coordinated, especially the security, they should be aware. Nigerians should let them know. The entire community, you will hold them responsible if anything happens here. But don't trust any politician. There's no one that the world has any bond anywhere.
All right. Mr. Buala, your final thoughts on the program tonight. There are fears, and these are fears. If you hear Mr. Odumakin, who is talking vehemently about this, the fears of some Nigerians are similar to his. Going into this election, if you cannot trust the security agencies, that's a major one, isn't it? Your final words.
Right. History has shown that the places where we had riggings and manipulation and vote buying, they didn't occur because the federal government used the machinery of the state. They occurred because a politician with more money won that place. And it doesn't matter whether it is the president on ground or not the president. Was it not the president that won election when PDP was in power in 2015? I believe the word of the president, and I believe the president is serious. But I also added by saying that we need to go beyond that and ensure that the security agencies are given a red line so that they adhere to it. But if it is whether the president is serious about that, I can tell you that tomorrow morning the president is serious. And for final note, Sheun, please, 1 second. When I said the election is decided, it is premised on something. You cannot build something on nothing and expect it to stand. 2019 election, INEC will never count the votes from LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook. It is the vote of people who go. For now, as far as the North is concerned, no living Northerner will defeat President Buhari. In the future, people may emerge. If it is a contest between the North and the South, I can tell you there are very good. But as far as this one is concerned,
we need to close the program. We are obviously out of time. Well, I must sincerely thank you, Mr. Daniel Buala, for your thoughts, and Mr. Odumakin, thank you for coming on the program. So, where the die is cast, you have the powers. You have your mobile phones. If you are in the Twitter community, don't only tweet. Get your cameras working. If you are in the Facebook community, don't always just comment. Your role in this one is to hold everybody accountable and get working. 2019 election must count. And that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.